What up and welcome to the Golden Era. We've got Game 5, if necessary a Game 6, and if maybe necessary again a Game 7 in the first round. We've got Golden State and Minnesota. We've got a whole bunch of other series that have got a lot of intrigue to it here in the opening round of the NBA playoffs. Let's get to Game 5, the closing minutes right now.
1:57 left in the fourth quarter.
I know that he has
From the arc. The Warriors.
He wants back.
So on the floor for Golden State. And again, he's watched by Kuminga. 18 feet out. And he nails that one.
But your opponent is just going to go cold. That's not going to happen. It doesn't look like in this one. This might go down to whoever has the last possession.
And it's in. That's tipped. No good with a fallback jumper.
And this is so critical. They now have to score every trip up the floor.
Yeah, they need everything to break their way at this point if they're going to rally back.
Timberwolves call timeout. Obviously not a lot of time to quarter. Down low. Here's Hairston. Money.
Late here in the quarter, they still have a foul to give.
Warriors call timeout. All right, what are the considerations at this late jump? To the inside. And now we've got an intentional foul. He hits the first one. And he hits seconds left in the fourth quarter here. Pass to Dixon. Launches it. He's off from three. And they need to stop the clock, so there's... He drops the first. So he goes 2 for 2 at the line, and it's a 5-point game.
And that'll just about do it. Coming through at the line in a big spot.
And so it's Minnesota with the W. Many league observers were starting to count them out, but tonight's effort gives them a chance to turn the tide.
It would be a major league.
A massive Game 5 win for the Minnesota Timberwolves as the Ojale and company force Game 6 back in Golden State. How about 33 from the MVP? A huge night from Darian Hairston, 10 of 17. He has had a fantastic series, as had Jacob Cuxick, 19 and 12. They got some support from those three, Ruffin, Cooper, and Knight, but it's Ojale who carries things for the Minnesota Timberwolves. And then for Golden State, big night from Javon Roll. Kind of shot himself out of this thing late in this one. Ends with 33. You love what you got from Dixon. You finally got something out of Dickerson and Kingston. 42 points combined, but in a wasted effort as this team falls 128-133, which means we've got a Game 6 coming up in Golden State. But before we get to Game 6 of Wolves Warriors, we are first going to take a look around the NBA with every single Game 5 that took place. Some might be elimination. Some are teams trying to go 3-2. Let's take a look right now. We'll start our jaunt of Game 5s with the Seattle Sonics getting a 117-104 win thanks to Alshon Webb, who leads the way with 32-8 and 6 in this one. A great day for Webb and company. For the Kings and the Lakers, the rematch of the Western Conference Finals. It's the Kings closing things out, 36-11 from Tyrese Alston, as the Kings get a 135-123 win. They eliminate the Los Angeles Lakers, who made it all the way to the Western Conference Finals a year ago. That's not going to matter. 1-8 for the Lakers in their last 9 postseason games as the Kings march on. Competitive series gets juicy between the Thunder and the Spurs. Nojas Sosnauskis, 28 points, including a pivotal 3 late in this one as the Thunder get a 125-120 win to go up 3-2 on San Antonio as this flips back to Texas. Switching conferences to the Eastern Conference, and the Bucks pick up a 3rd straight win against the Celtics, 129-125, and Luka Doncic, 23, 9, and 11, including the game-winning jumper that put him up 127-125 with under 27 seconds to go, and the Bucks now lead 3-2. The Hornets also get their third straight win by 132-125. Robert Mack is unstoppable. 34, 14, and 8. And now Charlotte heads back home. Big game 6. Chance to close out the Pacers and advance to the second round in the Eastern Conference. Let's head to those game 6s, but unfortunately with Golden State and Minnesota, it just was not all that close. Golden State Warriors pick up a 113-101 win. How about Russell Kingston? 24 points, a perfect 10 for 10 from the floor. He adds 2 blocks, a pair of steals, 6 boards, and the Golden State Warriors close this thing out. They led early on, big lead in the first half. Minnesota kind of chipped away, but by the time the final minutes were tolling away, it's a Golden State win in Game 6 to push them to the conference semifinals. You look at what the Wolves guys did, 35 from Cuxick. Again, he had a really nice series. Ogilvy and Hairston. Hairston ends the series with 4 straight double-doubles. You're Minnesota, you're saying, man, we wish we could have got this. Why didn't we? How about 2 of 14 combined for Knight and Workman? A poor night from Michael Cooper. A very quiet night from Shamar Poole. The bench players didn't do it, but you know you've got an MVP in Ogilvy. You've got a great number 2 in Hairston, and if you can bring him back, you got Jacob Cuxick as a very, very reliable veteran, been there point guard. But it's Golden State advancing to the Western Conference semifinals for a historic 10th straight season. That's 10 straight Western Conference finals. Semifinals. Only 2 teams in NBA history have ever made such a run. One of them was the 1982 to 1991 Los Angeles Lakers. The other one was the peak Boston Celtics, who made it to 13 straight, at the time, divisional semifinals. So only 2 teams have ever reached this mark. And Golden State, in this incredible era over the last 15 years with 8 NBA championships, a 4-peat and a 3-peat, they are now on the cusp of making it back to the Western Conference Finals. They now have a historic 10th straight Western Conference semifinals under their belt as they make the claim for the best dynasty in the NBA. Let's head for Game 6s. Seattle gets things done on the road, 127-122. A huge win to close out the Suns. Alshon Webb, a 50-burger to do it in this one. 17 for 24 from the floor. A huge closeout night. A terrible closeout night, and that's what's going to be going into the offseason for the Suns. 3 of 13 shooting from Jacoby Cleaves, and the defending Western Conference champions are headed home early. Oklahoma City, too, will advance. This one a dominant 111-95 win on the road. They do it in force. Davis Montgomery leads the Thunder with 20 points, but it is 6 Thunder scores finishing in double figures as the offense erupts. But it's the Oklahoma City Thunder advancing and the Spurs, for the 10th time in the last 12 postseason trips, falling in the first round. After losing the first 2 games of the series, the Bucks storm back. 148-129 win. Jules Petrus and Cameron Kabongo go nuts. Petrus finishes with 36. Kabongo has 20 second-half points, including 6 three-pointers on his way to 30 points, a massive trade deadline pickup for the Bucks. And they take down the Celtics 148-129. They advance to take on the Chicago Bulls. Indiana is going to survive in Game 6 thanks to Zane Shipp's 25 points. C.J. McCoy fouls out. J.K. Foye fouls out. Michael Brooks fouls out. Doesn't matter. It's a 114-103 win for the Pacers on the road. They're going back home for a win-or-go-home Game 7 in the first round against Charlotte. And let's give you that Game 7. How about a 142-117 beatdown? Malik Hightower, the free agent acquisition who kind of kick-started this Charlotte renaissance. 30 points to lead all scorers in this one. And there you have it. Our postseason as we sit here today. Seattle and Golden State squaring off in the conference semifinals. Oklahoma City and Sacramento in the other Western Conference. Let's just chat there real quick. What's on the line? Seattle, this incredible season. Their first playoff trip with this young group. They're facing maybe the most difficult team they could possibly go up against this veteran championship-hungry, championship-experienced Golden State Warriors team. It's going to be tough to get past them. It's going to be tough to get past the 3-star head of Golden State. I don't know that Seattle has it in them to be able to do this. You're going to have to slow down Javon Roll, Dixon, and Kuminga, who looked really good to close out that series. I don't see that Seattle really has the options to be able to do that. This is a deep team. You've got Alshon Webb. You've got Alexander Sangalia that lead the way. But after those two, there's a lot of defense, but there's kind of sporadic scoring. I mean, this is without a doubt. I mean, Xavier Ashley, 20 points in 11 minutes in a pivotal, I think it was Game 4 win for the Sonics that drew them even in that series against Seattle. They picked up Phoenix Jones Phoenix Jones and Franklin Knox kind of holding down that wing rotation. It's a very deep roster. But I think the biggest challenge that Seattle is going to face is how do you stop the stars of Golden State? Alshon Webb is going to have to go up against Javon Roll. That's a pretty even matchup. Caden Dickerson and Donnell Everett, I think that's an even matchup. I'd shade that one in the favor of the Sonics. But the 3 and the 4 favor so heavily to the Warriors with Dixon and Kuminga. And, Russell Kingston might not be a superstar, but he'd had a great series going up against Abiz Ojale last time out. Back-to-back 20-point games in Game 5 and the closeout game in Game 6 when he had 24, 10 for 10 from the floor, as we just saw. I just don't know that the experience is going to be there for Seattle in this one. Give me the Golden State Warriors in 6 games to get back to the Western Conference semifinals. Sacramento and Oklahoma City. The Kings are facing a must-win series, this massive payroll. But the biggest question mark is going to be what happens at that position right there, the 4 spot. What will be the availability of Jason Sanders? Why do we ask that question? Because Jason Sanders is dealing with a sprained toe, of all things. He has already been ruled doubtful for Game 1. Organization has listed him as day-to-day. If he can't make it back for this one, I think there is very major concern for the Sacramento Kings. The good news for Sacramento, as you can see here, is he did not play in the closeout Game 5 win against the Los Angeles Lakers. You still got it done. You still have a guy named Tyrese Alston that can hold things down for you, who had that huge Game 5, who had a huge Game 2. This guy can do just about everything. So you have to feel really confident that you got Tyrese Alston. But the big question mark is what happens? What are we going to get from Jason Sanders? Is he going to miss Game 1? Is he going to miss Game 2? Is he going to miss the entire first 4 games of the series? We don't yet know. And if that happens, that's concerning because we've talked about this organization, this program, they need to win now. The finances for this team are absolutely miserable. Their team payroll is $229 million, 55 into the luxury tax. This comes after they took all the time in the world to free up some cap space at the trade deadline to try to shed some of that money. How can you realistically, if you're the Kings, come back next season where you've got all of these guys, you're already $40 million into the luxury tax spot with not a full roster, so you're expecting that number to go up. How can you justify bringing back these 4 guys if you don't win a championship? And I think you can make the argument, how can you justify bringing back these 4 guys if you do win a championship? Just the amount of money that the Sacramento Kings are pouring in to Parker Pollard, to Jason Sanders, to Tyrese Alston, and to RJ Wallace. Are those guys really good? You betcha. But how can you justify the very, very high price tag for this team if you don't get it done? And it will not be easy to get done. We talked about Seattle being a very deep team. The Oklahoma City Thunder are here. They're the number 2 team. They're a 57-win team in the Western Conference because of their depth. You love their wing rotation. Davis Montgomery and Nojas Sosnauskas as your starters. Michael Chasen and Wade Cantor-Medley both step in and are probably starters on most every other team. Instead, they're the 6th and the 7th man off the bench. Sol J. Crabb, the rookie big man, has had a fantastic series. And then you can kind of dip into Byron Embry as your backup guard behind Tobias Bell, but you barely need to because you've got SGA who can fill in at age 35, 36, who's having a fantastic series and season, and then Samaj Bishop just kind of holding things down. This team is exceptionally deep. If we look at both of these 2 series in the Western Conference, it is the story of depth versus star power. Golden State and Sacramento, your star power. Your Javon Roll, your your Tyrese Alston, Jason Sanders, R.J. Wallace, former Defensive Player of the Year, Deontay Dixon, Jonathan Kuminga. That's your stars. That's what the Kings and the Warriors bring to the table. And then the opposite side of that are these team built around depth. What's going to win out? Are we going to get the stars? And this is the blueprint to winning a NBA championship, is you invest in your stars. Or on the flip side, is this a story of you just need one or two guys? You need an Alshon Webb, you need a Tobias Bell, you need a Noja Sosnoskis, and an Alexander Sangalia. If you get those two guys who are all-star caliber, Alshon Webb was just, I think he made All-NBA. You get those two guys, and then you fill them in with a lot of great pieces. What methodology wins out? That is the battle right now of the Western Conference, and that is exciting. And then in the East, we've got some time ticking, we've got some all-ins, we've got maybe the best rosters in the league. This is a very, very entertaining series. Let's start with Chicago and Milwaukee. How about Chicago with Javon Stokes, the star, Dakota Motley, the second fiddle, the Robin to Batman, the depth. I mean, this is a young team, but over the last 2 years, they made the first round of the postseason. They made it to the conference semis last year where they lost to Indiana, and now they're a 61-win team with the best record in basketball, maybe the best roster in basketball, and kind of playing that best of both worlds that we were just talking about. You want depth? Boy, oh boy, do the Chicago Bulls have it. You can go probably 9 deep right here. That's about 10 deep to Joshua Barnes before it really falls off. But you also have Javon Stokes, who is a superstar. I mean, 32, 19, and 7 to close things out. He is a big game baller, an all-NBA, all-star caliber point guard. Dakota Motley sitting right next to him, who can be the great Klay Thompson to Steph Curry, although they don't really play the same way. That's what the Chicago Bulls bring to the table. Milwaukee, meanwhile, a lot of great pieces, but while the window doesn't feel like it shuts if you don't get it done right now, you're not too far away with Luka Doncic at age 36. You kind of have to get things done. You've had a fantastic season from Jules Petrus, who really elevated his game late in the season, including those huge Game 5, Game 6 performances, 35 and 36. He's finally starting to rebound. He's a great interior presence. You want to throw this back a couple of years? This is like a Jaren Jackson Jr. type of guy. Great scorer, doesn't rebound as much as you probably want. He's gotten better at that, and a great defender inside. You just look at those numbers, 5, 4, and 2 as the Bucks storm back. You can look to the stats and the points that Luka Doncic put up. You can look at the numbers that Dwayne Qualls put up, but it's Jules Petrus and the addition of Cameron Kabongo at the trade deadline that makes this Bucks team so dangerous. I didn't pick the other side. Give me Sacramento in 7 in that one. Give me the Chicago Bulls in 7 in this one. And then let's wrap this thing up with Brooklyn and Charlotte. And honestly, what's not to like about this matchup? You've got the Brooklyn Nets, who had the huge summer. They go out, they get Savion White, they say, Louis Morgan, thanks but no thanks. This trio of Brighton Reed, Louis Morgan, who helped bring in Brighton Reed, and Rashawn Matthews is not working. What are we going to do? We're going to get a two-way wing in Savion White. And what did it do? Another great season from the Nets. Meanwhile, on the other side for Charlotte, this was a team last season. Nobody thought they were going to get Malik Hightower. What did they do in free agency? Get Malik Hightower. Why does that matter? Because once you got Malik Hightower in there and you paired him next to Jonathan Malheur and Robert Mack, who are all NBA caliber guys, it spurred the Hornets to say, turns out we got one more piece to get, and that piece is Shane Ruffin, the former Warrior, the great three-point shooting 3-and-D wing for Golden State on their championship-winning teams. They get him from Toronto, where he had made his way to, and he has been the pivotal piece for this team that's made a great run to close out the season. So you've got the great interior presence. You've got a pair of guys, Malik Hightower, who saved them in Game 7 with 30 points, a huge Game 7 win as they rallied back from down 2-0 as you get a look at his stat lines throughout the series. And then you've got Jonathan Malheur, who's maybe one of the more underappreciated point guards in the NBA, who had a fantastic series of his own. I mean, really, when this series flipped, it's when Malheur started to get aggressive and started getting a little bit more efficient. Those first two games, 19-16, both losses. They did not look good. Back-to-back 33s to get this thing right. 3 straight 20-plus point games. You look at those stats, or those shots go up. The assists go up. He starts to get more aggressive. That's what this Charlotte team brings to the table against a good Brooklyn squad. And Brooklyn's been here. You've got the star power. You've got Brighton Reed, who can absolutely dunk on anyone. He went 44 points in the closeout, double overtime win against the Orlando Magic. He assists with the best of them. He does it all. You've got Savion White, who's had a really good postseason, including that nice 35-point game in Game 4. You've got Rashad Matthews, an All-NBA caliber center who rebound among the league leaders in rebounding, and then you fill in with some good pieces, including Brighton Reed's brother, Memphis Reed, two of the three Reed brothers here in the NBA. This is a really dangerous squad, and this is honestly one of the more intriguing series. I don't know where to pick on this one. I really don't. I will go Brooklyn in 7. I don't feel great about that because Charlotte has been one of the best teams to close out the season since they got Shane Ruffin. They had the 4th best record in the NBA and in the West, or excuse me, specifically to the Eastern Conference. 4th best record since the Shane Ruffin deal. The problem with that is the 3 teams ahead of them were Chicago, Brooklyn, and Indiana, who they just took down in that dramatic 7-game comeback series. I don't love picking against this Charlotte squad. I don't love picking against Robert Mack, the ultimate, I say the best center in the NBA, who's athletic enough to score on the outside, can handle the ball, a great point guard in Jonathan Malheur, and finally some pieces. That free agency, that surprising pickup of Malik Hightower, poaching him away from the Phoenix Suns, has sparked this team. I'm taking the Nets. I don't love it. But that might be the most interesting series that we're going to have here in the second round, Brooklyn and Charlotte.